Shalom everyone, it's called Torah, it's Tuesday at noon, and this week we'll talk about the two parashot that we will read this Shabbat, Parashat Behar-Bechukotai. And today I would like to take the few minutes that we have today and to talk a little bit about chukim, laws. As we know, the Torah has different commandments, and I would like to suggest that we can probably divide them to three different sections or departments. The first is, and it's obviously being suggested by early rabbis, what we call mitzvot shim'iyot. Commandments, mitzvot, that I basically can know about them by myself and even could come up with that concept by myself. For example, respecting my parents. I think every normal person understands that he's supposed to or expected to respect his parents who brought him to this life and helped him and so forth and so on. The second type or the second class of a commandment is what we called mitzvot shim'iyot. The first one were mitzvot sichliyot, meaning I could know them by my sechel, by my cognitive abilities. And the second class is mitzvot shim'iyot, meaning things that I had to have Hashem telling me about these commandments, because without Hashem telling me about them, I will never know about them. For example, to put tefillin. I can understand why I do that. It reminds me Exodus, it reminds me the special connection that I have with Hashem. But without Hashem telling me about tefillin, I will never know about it. And then we have the chukim, the laws, like the red heifer, or the shatnez, the linen and wool together, that obviously without Hashem telling me about them, I will never know about them. But also, there is no really a good reason for them. So let's digress for a second. One section is mitzvot shim'iyot, that God had to tell me about those commandments, but there is also some kind of a reason. There are mitzvot sichliyot, commandments that I could figure out by my own cognitive abilities, and I obviously understand the reason. And then there is a third part, chukim, laws, with no reason. So in a way, if I would look at them in a very superficial way, I would say that mitzvot sichliyot, the commandments that can come up with our own cognitive, are commandments that teaches us that we are partners with God. We also can understand ethics and morals and politeness and kindness. The second part, mitzvot shim'iyot, shows the partnership with God. God tells me the mitzvah, but in a way gives me also a reason that I can understand and fulfill it. And the third part is to teach us about obedience. Just following directions. God said so, and that's what I do. But I would like to claim that sometimes it's even more difficult to fulfill or perform mitzvot shim'iyot, meaning the mitzvot that I could not know about them without God telling me, but I can still understand the reason. And the reason for that is, or the cause for it is, what's happened if the reason ceased to exist? Or it's not relevant? It's not associated with anything that we do. And you ask yourself, okay, God gave me a commandment. He also gave me, in a way, a reason. The reason is gone. Why do I need to keep the commandment? And I think that the solution for this very, very complicated philosophical question there are really two answers. A, the reason that is given to us is not necessarily the reason. It may be a reason, but not the reason. And there is a huge difference. And B, even if the reason is not there, there is still the commandment from God. So in a way, when we look at Parashat Bechukotai and we look about these three different types of commandments, The common denominator is obviously obedience. At the end of the day, we do what God says because God said so. But nevertheless, it is up to us to maximize our potential, to really try to understand the commandments, to really try to make them relevant, to try to associate ourselves with them and make them part of our lives. So whatever we do with meaning, with understanding, with closeness and nearness to the commandments that were presented to us. It's a very delicate balance between, on one hand, maximize my potential of understanding and reasoning, and at the same time, to withdraw and in a way to surrender myself to God's wisdom and will. And this is our task, our mission in life. On one hand, to push ourselves to our maximum potential, and at the same time, to know when to withdraw. Thank you.